Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This week we're at Suzuka in the F3. It's round 3 of the iRacing season this week. So yeah, just getting into the season. A lot longer to go, it's 12 weeks, so still another 9 more to go. So still a long time to go in the season. See where we can finish up in the championship. Today we're around Suzuka. It's a very fun track. Probably one of the best tracks on the calendar. If not one of the best tracks in the world, really. The S section's so much fun. At the moment we're on board with my fastest lap of the week. Didn't do many laps looking for lap time this week, so it's not overly fast. There was a bit of a mistake through turn 1, and it wasn't really clean, but it was a very nice lap. This was qualifying for my 4th race of the week. That race didn't go on to do very well. I got crashed out in the first lap, so that was quite annoying. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get into it. So, here we are on the grid for the first race. Very bad qualifying for this one, down in 18th. Also, high strength of field. Almost 4k strength of field in this race, so lots of pressure on. If for a good result here, could have been really good iRacing, but starting towards the back, so a lot of cars to overtake. Down to turn 1, just really stacked up. Everyone going slower than I thought. Pushed that old Williams liveried car off behind. Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt us later on. Side by side through 3, but backs out of it, the car on the outside. Just looking to, there's not really going to be anywhere to make a move through the S's, so just sitting behind. Don't want to get into any collisions, just tyres are still really cold. So much understeer on the first lap. Having to lift so much through Dunlop curve. Stop from just sliding off wide on the outside. Again, everyone's going to stack up quite heavily. Down here and again into 2. Just looking for any mistakes in front, seeing if I can capitalise on them. The slipstream's going to be very important in these races. It's very strong with 2 long straights leading into each other. Car wide on the outside there. No real problems, everyone just funneling through to the inside. Sticking out behind this 20 car for now. He was falling off slightly from the cars in front, so had to make a move. Just looking for the inside into Spoon. Not fighting it too hard, just going nicely down the inside. Now, this is where it's important to be on the slipstream. Probably worth half a second, these 2 straights. Big kerfuffle behind, just allowing me a bit of a gap. Even though I'm not in the slipstream with the cars in front, I'm not going to be any pressure into the chicane and then down into turn 1. You can see what the slipstream's doing to the cars in front. They're all going side by side down into 130R, but most people backing out of it now. It's only lap 1. No need to go for any stupid moves. 15 lap race. About half an hour. Good length of race. Most of the F3 races about this length. That 15 car got a really poor run. Got stacked up behind the 10 through the final chicane. So just taking the inside. Inside into turn 1. You'll see throughout these races that I've made moves both down the inside and this 10 car slides sideways. So lost all the time I gained on that previous lap. But yeah, you'll see throughout these races that I've made moves both on the inside and outside of turn 1. It's a very fun corner, all about commitment. If you can commit to the outside, then it's easy to make a move. This 11 car in front's clearly got some damage somewhere. Looks like he's sliding all over the place, really struggling. Just gonna go past him here before the Degners. Down through Degner 1 and in through Degner 2. Just gotta be nice and smooth. See if I can close in towards this 15. Getting the slipstream pretty soon. So, yeah, the end of that, no, the end of the next lap here, that 15 car makes a pretty big mistake. Again, similar to what he did on lap 1. Gets me back inside the slipstream. Now we'll see how much I can gain down this straight. Already gained a 10th or 2 just from the final corner down. Not going to be close enough to look to make a move into turn 1, but just it really just keeps you in the fight. He went slower than I thought into turn 1 and sort of made me lock up slightly. As you're turning while braking, it's very easy to lock that right front. Just making a bit of a mistake there, but it didn't really matter. I'm close enough here. I'm going to be able to stick in the slipstream. Just through the S's, it's quite important to try and get out of that dirty air. Try and turn to the inside through the high-speed corners just to get a bit of clean air on the nose. Stop the understeer from coming too bad. It's not something you can do quite as much through the Degners as they're very single-laned. But doing quite a nice job there, running slightly wide on exit, but have to keep that slipstream. Poor run through the hairpin. Close enough now. Look to make a move into Spoon. That 5 car behind, the car that I pushed off on turn 1, hopefully doesn't remember that. It's looking quite racy. Just looking to the inside of Spoon. Let's see, will he let me have it? Tries to stick on the outside here, just losing up both time. Cleared him now through the inside, the second part of Spoon, but now he's going to have to slipstream back on me, and he's going to be able to make a run to the outside. Let's see where this 5 car goes. Follows me. Then he jinks to the inside, making it 3 wide on the grass. The 15 car wisely backs out of it, and then I do the same, letting him go through in front into 130R. 15 fancies another run at me, but with the inside in the chicane, there's not going to be anywhere he can really go. Tries to look around the outside, but no, not enough grip there. But what it has done, him going for that move and just holding us both up, has mean that I'm now out of the slipstream of this 5 car. And he's really fast. He's 4K iRacing, so it's going to be difficult for me to catch back up with him. Probably going to pull away now. I was hoping that he could drag us along to the top 10 in front of us, but that's looking unlikely now. See how well I can take the S's section. Maybe I can get back in the slipstream, but you can see just with every corner pulling a 10th. Still, not too big a gap to the 9 car, currently in 10th. Remember, poor qualifying, so quicker than a lot of the cars in front of me here, so should be able to make some moves, maybe gain into it, in towards them towards the end of this race. Pulled the gap out to 1.2 now, so, and the 1x on the exit there. So yeah, a couple laps later here, you can see that 5 cars pulled away in front. 15 cars disappeared from behind us, so big gap behind. He's starting to battle with the 9 car for 10th now. Hopefully that will hold them both up, and I'll be able to gain in on them. Still, a long way to go in the race. 5 laps in. This is again another couple laps after that. The 5 cars overtaking. Oh, here, there's a car wide on the exit Digna 2. But the 5 cars now at the front of this group. And that whole group in front of me, I'm closing in on them. And that 16 car making mistakes is going to help me with that even more. Down to 1.3 behind now. So really closing in nicely. Should be there soon. Now, the lap after that. Almost in that slipstream range now. Only a second behind. Quicker than both these cars in front, so a couple good sectors, a couple, maybe a lap or 2, and I should be in that slipstream, should be fighting for this 10th place. That was really my goal at the start, see if I can get within the top 10. A top 10 in a 4.5k field is very, very impressive. All these drivers are really experienced, really good racers. They all know what they're doing. Ooh. Didn't know what he was doing there. Got on the grass into the hairpin. Still, managed to catch it. Very good save, and he's managed to stay out slipstream as well, so very important for him. Let's see if I can take Spoon well this time. Nice entry, good rotation in the middle, slightly wide at the second part, but that's about as good as I could take it. It wasn't quite good enough, just out of the slipstream, maybe half a 10th quicker and I'd have been there. You can see him pulling away now. It was a frustrating phase of the race, these next few laps. I was close to these 2 in front and definitely felt I was quicker than them, but couldn't quite get into the slipstream. If I could just get a little bit closer, then I'm pretty sure I could make moves on those 2 cars in front and maybe get up into the top 10. But just stuck back in 12th for the minute. Just focusing through the S's again. Felt you could run quite wide on the entry to Dunlop and still take it flat out. So that was something I'm focusing on doing now. Another couple laps after that, still not quite in the slipstream. And finally, the 16 car makes a mistake. Gets me nice close up behind him. See, definitely in the slipstream now. Checking up into the hairpin. Let's see what we're going to do down into Spoon. The 9 car doesn't seem close enough here, so he'll stick behind into Spoon. Maybe get the run into 130R and go for the move. I've got a good run here. Looking to the inside. Alongside down into 130R. It's pretty dangerous stuff. And he ends up in the wall. There wasn't actually any contact there. I went back and watched the replay afterwards. He just got himself stuck on the curb on the exit, running a bit too wide on the outside and spun it. Nothing to do with me. Well, I mean, if I wasn't there, he'd have been fine, but there was no contact or anything. I gave him enough room. He just ran wide, got on the curb. Now, can I get past the 16 car? With only 5 laps to go now in the race, I think we might be able to catch those 2 cars in front, but we really couldn't battle. So it was whether I wanted to look to try and catch those 2 cars in front, or try and take the lead in this battle and see if I could catch them myself. Still got a few more corners till I can worry about that. Got to hook up this section. Bit of oversteer on the entry to Degner 1. Hurt my run through Degner 2 a bit, got stuck on that curb. But still, inside the slipstream. Into the hairpin. You can now see a second behind 9th place. Under a second now for the car in front. As soon as that gap's under 6/10, we'll be in the slipstream and start gaining much quicker. So, quite happy with how it's going at the moment. If I could stick behind the 16, we could catch the 2 cars in front, then I could be on for a battle for 8th here. It's a big gap to the 7th in front of this battle, so this is pretty much all I'm on to be doing. You can see with the slipstream, the 23 cars pulled quite significantly away from the 16, but the gap between me and the 23 stayed pretty consistent. Big slide from the 16 there, just losing time. Really couldn't afford that at this point. A 1:52.59 this lap. We'll see how those lap times change throughout the final few laps of this race. See if we can be doing better than that. It's not good enough for now. Turn 3 is normally flat out in clean air, but you can hear lifting and downshifting in the dirty air. Normally in 4th as well, through the final part of the S's, but down into 3rd when I'm in the dirty air, it really does make a difference. Still a second between 9th and 10th. Not gaining, but not losing either. One mistake, we could be there. There you go, a little mistake through Degner 2. Down to 7/10. Really, 6/10 where we need to be. We're almost there. Only one more 10th. Now the 23 car's out of the slipstream with the 13 in front of it. We've got 4 cars here covered by under 2 seconds. Oh, that mistake from the 16 really hurts. Just as we were looking pretty comfortable to getting back in that battle, we've slipped behind again. Now this was as good a chance as any to get past the 16 without losing any time, so I just went for it. Get through cleanly. Maybe I can set a few lap times here and get back in front. But he brakes quite late into the final chicane. Puts me off my braking a little bit. Slows us down. Just hoping that he doesn't try and go for a move into turn 1. Hoping he understands that The only way we can do better than this battle for 10th is if we keep smart, but looking to the outside into turn 1, just losing us time. Have to brake a bit later to make sure I'm in front of him, and now it's losing more time. Looking to the outside of 3, it's just a bit of a mess. Maybe lost us 3-4 tenths of a second. We'll see how much that affects us at different parts of this race, because if you're within the 6 tenths, then you're going to gain massively, and if you're outside of it, you're going to lose. So a couple tenths here or there can really make a massive difference to the race. Our last lap time was a 1:52.39, so 2 tenths faster than the lap before, but still not gaining significantly on the cars in front. We'll see how much slower our next lap is due to that battling. There's only going to be 2 laps to go at the end of this lap, so not much time now to gain that 1.3 second gap. Bit of a mistake from the 13 car there. Loses him a bit of time, and the 23's wide on the exit. Just looking in front at this point, just hoping to see little mistakes, little errors that I can capitalise on, just gain tenths and tenths. Down to 1.2 out of the final corner, 1.1. Let's see what the lap time is. 52.68, so that battling at the start, you can see, lost us 4 tenths, 5 tenths. It's very difficult to gain that time back when almost every lap's within a tenth or 2 of each other. Just trying to hook up the S's nicely on the curb. In the final part, up through Dunlop, slightly wide, but easy flat out, so it shouldn't matter. See, if we were 4 tenths faster now, I'd be right on that 6 tenth bubble. I'd be right in and amongst it. See, it's 9 tenths now. I'd have been gaining with the slipstream here. But down into the hairpin lock, the left front. Back out again, back out of the, well, net slipstream, and back out of really any chance of getting into the slipstream. With only a couple more times through spoon and one more lap at the line, it's going to be very little chance of gaining 1.2, 1.3 seconds. Let's see what the 16 car wants to do now. If I was him, I'd be looking to make a move. I don't think we're going to be catching that pack in front. We've just been stuck at this gap behind for so long now. Pulling to the inside into 130. I'm not really looking for a move, just trying to time his run. Takes it to the outside, backs out of it. Onto the white flag lap. Maybe with a mistake in front we can catch them, but not looking likely for now. Let him have the inside into turn 1, lifting off, letting him through. Seems like a strange decision to let him have the position going onto the final lap, but with how strong the slipstream is, going down into 130R, I was pretty comfortable that I could overtake him again before the end. You can see how much the mistake through the hairpin hurt me that lap, of 52.6 again. Easily 4 tenths lost. Yellow flag in front. What's happened up here? It's a car off the track. Could this be the mistake I was looking for? It was a third car, number 2. It's pretty horrible for him. From podium position back to trying to stay inside the top 10. But this does really change the way that the end of this race is going to shape up. Rather than being quite a comfortable move down into 130R against this 16 car, he's now going to be getting the slipstream off the 2 in front of him. It's really going to Oh, what's happened to 23 there, off the track? It's going to be 4 cars under a blanket going into the final corner. Take it 3 wide round the outside of the 2. Then 16 chops across my nose. Looking to the inside. 0x contact. Just rubbing. Then 16 didn't give me much space on the inside there. Dunno, you can look back and see whose fault you think that is, but I'm pretty sure he didn't give me any space there. Didn't give me anywhere to go, but no chance to make a move on the 23 into the final corner, so gonna cross the line in 9th it is, so top 10 finish. Not sure what you think about that scuffle, I don't know what the word is, but a bit of contact with the 16 car. You can see his mistake, see whose fault you think that is. Pretty sure it's his though. So here we are into race 2. This is the final race I'm going to show you because all the other races I took part I got taken out in the first lap. So green lights, away we go. Just looking to the inside. Qualified on 3rd for this one, much better qualifying. The top 2 in front were really quick, but a few cars covered by 10th. Ooh, the 1 car gets slightly shoved out there. Wasn't really expected to be stuck on the inside of a car through there, so got a pretty poor run. Just let him have the inside into 3. Couple cars off in the background. That's why it's nice to be towards the front. Less chance of being caught up in crashes like that. Although, in a later race, I did get caught up in a crash like that, even at the front. Through the S's, I realised by this point in the week that with everyone going so slow through the S's on the first lap, it was quite a good chance to warm up the tyres by just doing some weaving through the S's. And you can get some tyre temperature in the front tyres for the rest of the lap. See if you can capitalise on a couple people's cold tyres in the early portions of the race. Already just looking to sit in behind this 1 car. No need to go for any moves now, just break away from the cars behind if you can. You can already see the gap between 4th and 5th, up to 8/10 or so. Out of the slipstream there, so it's a 5-car battle for the lead at the moment. Although it's a bit of a strange mentality to be thinking about that so early in the race. It was something that I was really looking at. Where are the brakes in the traffic? What size battles are we getting? This 5-car looking to the outside of me. Just push him slightly wide through 130R, but not really an opportunity to make a move there. Not unless you're trying to be really aggressive. No need for that in the first lap. What it did do though is lose a 10th or 2 to the car in front, which, as I was talking about those gaps in the slipstream, there's one right in front of me now. Just making sure I'm staying to the inside into turn 1. Don't want to give him an opportunity to go for it. He's probably getting quite impatient there. He knows that he can gain on the cars in front and stay inside the slipstream, but stuck behind me for now. I'm pretty confident I can keep up with these 2 in front, at least for a few laps. Keep them on their toes. I know they're going to be quick, but you know, anyone can make a mistake. Got to make sure I'm there to capitalise. Take a bit too much curb in Degner 2. Maybe lost me a 10th. Those little mistakes like that can really change one of these races with such high-rated drivers around. This is a lower-rated race than the race I was previously in. Only about 3.2k strength of field. See how well we can take Spoon this time. Gotta make sure I'm in the slipstream. Taking it nicely. Now 5/10 of the car in front. That's exactly where I want to be. Just gain on him. Gain and gain down these 2 long straights. For a lot of this race I was using the slipstream more of a defensive tool than attack. Just lifting off, braking quite early into the final chicane. Don't want to get in the back of him. You can see there, losing 2 or 3/10 through the final corner. It was kind of endemic for me that I was just losing time through that final chicane. It really did shape the race. I couldn't make moves into turn 1 and was being under pressure. 5 car making a bit of a lunge to the inside, but not much going on there. Outside of 3, he's not going to make that happen. But again, just a little move like that, we're out of the slipstream again in the 1 car. So, just got to focus on having a few good sets of corners here, see if I can gain back. Or, I'm going to have to let that 5 car go. There's no way of being able to defend without the slipstream. But, you know how I was talking about taking a bit too much curve through dignity? Well, 1 car did much worse than me. Outside the hairpin, let's see if I can stay alongside. Through 200R. With the inside of 200R, should just be able to pull in front, or at least stay easily alongside into the entry of spoon. Running slightly wide on the exit, but that's fine. Finley Fitzsimmons, the car that disconnected. He took me out in my 4th race. Just running into the back of me into spoon. Now, here we go again. 5 car gaining into the chicane. There's no car in front of me now for the slipstream, so quite happy to let him go because I was pretty confident that he was going to get past anyway. And I could just slot in behind him. Keep it nice and smooth. Takes the pressure off me. Less chance of making a mistake in second in line. Looking to the outside of turn 1, just looking to put pressure on him. Not really any need to make a move, just he might make a mistake. Touch a bit of grass, run wide, take himself out the race. If I get him into his mind that I'm going to go for moves, then he's going to have to push harder. Down through the Degners again. See how well we take it this time. That's pretty perfect. In quali you might be wanting to run over that curb, but it's a bit of a risk too. Can sometimes spit you off to the left. Don't want to be doing it lap after lap. Still, 4/10 behind 5 car. There's 2 series for the F3, so there's the fixed series and the open series. I run the fixed and the open stands for the setup option, so a fixed setup or an open setup where anyone can change it. I just stick to the fixed setups for both. I do both series, but just use the same setup for both of them. I find that there's not much difference in pace. This is the open series, so there will be some other cars running different setups, but they both count towards different championships. So over the 12-week series, 13 weeks including the fun week, there's a championship, and whoever accumulates the most points wins the championship. I'm not going to be anywhere near winning it, but we'll see. Maybe top 20, that'd be a good result. Looking through the S's again, the 5 car made a little bit of a mistake into turn 1. But again, pulled it out to 6/10, 5/10, right on the edge of the slipstream. The gap seems to undulate a bit through the end of the S's and through the Degners, but I think it was more of a mistake with the timing screens than the actual gap between the cars. But 6/10 here, so got to get a couple good corners to stay inside that slipstream. Otherwise I'm going to be under real pressure from the 1 car. And the little lock up into the hairpin's not helped. Let's see what the 1 tries to do here. Does he think that he can overtake me and then go on to catch the 5 car? Looking to the inside and spoon, but backing out of it for now. It's always a strange move going to the inside on the first part of spoon. especially if you're not guaranteed a slipstream in front, because the car you overtake is most likely to just going to come back past you down the back straight. So he doesn't go for it this time. Let's see what he does into the chicane. Again, pulling out to the left just to make sure he gets the run at the right point. Same as what the 16 car did last race. I just let him have it. I know he's faster than me. Out of the slipstream with the 5, so hopefully he can set some good laps and catch us back up. And again, I feel like leading a group is much more likely to make a mistake. Still, only 6 laps in. Got to keep the mistakes to a minimum. Let's see if I can get some clean air on the nose through the S's this time. The 2 car looking to the inside runs me a little bit wide, and then I can hug the curb a little bit tighter through that corner. Get some clean air. It was good enough, stayed inside the slipstream, but so tricky to follow with the dirty air. Perfect Degners though. Running nice and nicely on that curb on the exit of Degner 2. This one car hasn't been able to make any inroads on the 5. Dropped back even more than I had, so looks like that 5's got away for now. Down through Spoon, clipping the curb on the inside, getting a little bit of a wheel spin. Now, a couple laps later here, it was a bit of status quo for a few laps. Stuck inside the slipstream with the 1 car. Oh, big slide into turn 1. Can't believe I saved that. That was a huge slide, giving the 2 a little bit of a look at the run here. But, more importantly, lost me time. It's now 8 tenths to the car in front, 9 tenths. Can't be having that, gotta gain it back up again. Felt like I've been a little bit quicker than him for the past few laps. Did a 52.3 last lap. It's pretty good, maybe a couple tenths off my optimal pace. See what we do through the Digners this time. Taking that curb quite well, not quite as good as the last time you saw it, but still pretty good. Pushing into the hairpin, looking up with the apex quite nicely, getting a nice, just not wheel spin on exit, but rotation on power as the rear tyres start to complain. But still not inside that slipstream. 2 cars right up behind me. What started as a 5-car battle for the lead is now, even bigger slide than the previous one, but that lets the 2 car through. Just going to let him go. Hopefully he can catch the 1. What started as a 5-car battle for the lead is now spread out into 3 single car runs and this 2-car battle for 4th. Hopefully we can catch 3rd and have a bit of a battle for the final step of the podium. Top 2 look pretty checked out for now. Again, poor final corner, 5 tenths behind now. It's not a problem at this point in the race, but as we get later on, those 5 tenths gaps coming out the final corner is going to become a real problem. Again, looking for some clean air on the nose through the S's. Me and the 2-car running a pretty similar line, just trying to look around, but although it's you can run multiple different lanes through the S's, I didn't have much practice at running anything other than what I was doing, so it's quite difficult to change this late on and under this much pressure. It's difficult to convey through the video, but we are pushing so much, we're right at the limit of what we can do. But as I was talking about it spreading out into some single cars battles, then that 5-car makes a mistake. Puts us all back together again. 4-car battle for 2nd here. But still, I'm not quite in the slipstream. Let's hope This time round, I don't get stuck at that that bubble just over 6/10, but I have forgotten some of how this race ends. I'm currently recording this on the Wednesday. Oh yeah, the 2-car goes through the old pit lane. That puts me back inside the slipstream. But I'm recording this on the Wednesday. I did this race on the Wednesday last week, so it's quite a while since I did this race. Now, let's see again. That just inside the slipstream, am I? Doesn't look like it. Not gaining. Again, just those mistakes through the final corner. It wasn't mistakes, it was how I was trying to take it, but I wasn't doing it correctly, and I was just out of the slipstream again. But their battling might be able to put me back in it. You won't get to see me going through the old pit lane in this video, but it is something that I've done. Whew, as I get another slide there. It's something that I do quite a lot. It's good fun and practice races and stuff like that. I felt as I went through this race that I was overheating my rear tyres quite a bit. After that big slide through turn 1 a few laps ago, my rears were getting hotter and hotter, so just struggling for traction on corner exit through the high speed corners, a bit of rear loading. Again, that traction, 6/10 again coming out of the hairpin. Not in the slipstream, not gaining down these straights. So can I take spoon? Well, those two in the front so close together, you feel like I should be able to gain on them quite easily. Again, I got back inside the slipstream, but then poor exit, and they're pulling away. It was so frustrating. Just being outside the slipstream, not being able to make a move or capitalize on the moves that other people are making. Surely I'm going to be on the slipstream on the exit here, but just such a bad run off the corner that 5/10 behind, 6/10 behind. Not going to be gaining again down the front straight. 3 laps to go in the race now, not long to go. If this sustains for any longer, it's really going to put a halt to this race. For me at least. Those 2 cars in front sure look like they're having a bit of fun. Having a nice little battle. Getting slightly angry at this point, taking too much curb through turn 3. Even when I can't afford to be losing time, I'm making little mistakes. Then wide on the entry of Dunlop, have to lift slightly through Dunlop. Not what I want. Now, can I take the Degner as well? Nicely through Degner 1. Down into Degner 2. Clip the curb nicely at the apex. Run out well on the exit. Now, good traction on the exit of the hairpin. This could finally be my chance. He locks up slightly. I take a bit too much curb, but here we go. Inside the slipstream down into spoon. This is really what I've been waiting a few laps now for this. Opportunity to make a move on the 1 car. 3/10 now. Good run on the exit, and here we go. He's now dropped out of the slipstream with the car in front, so again, 2-car battle for 4th, but rather than it being me and the 2 car, it's me and the 1 car this time. Slightly lifting down the straight into 130R so I can get the run. Round the outside of the final chicane, let's see. Side by side through the first part, through the second part. Beats me on the run off the corner. Frustration again because of my poor exits. Now, slipstream again into turn 1. Because we were side by side, I was much closer coming down into turn 1. See, round the outside. He gives it up this time. Just out-braking him. More confidence than he had. Even this late on in the race, that was too much of a risk for him. See what sort of run I can get through Dunlop. He's 4/10 behind now, so he's still going to be in the slipstream. Can we gain on the 2-car in front? He's looked quicker than me all race, so it's going to be difficult for me to gain on him. Good run through Degner 2. Half a second now is the gap behind. 4/10. You can see the slipstream taking effect already, even just down a short straight like that. Nice run through the hairpin. He makes a bit of mistake, runs a little wide. Should break the slipstream for now. Oh, just stays inside the slipstream. You can see him pull in a 10th. Even just gaining 1/10 down through 200R means he's a 10th closer coming into Spoon, which means it's more likely to be in the slipstream coming down this back straight. But is he out the slipstream again? 6/10? No, still in. 5/10. We'll see. He started 6/10. That half a tenth he gained through 200R. Let's see how much it got, lets him gain. He's now 4/10 behind, closing on 3/10 into the final chicane. So that half a tenth he gained through 200R gained him 4/10 maybe in the end. But poor run through the final corner, and he's going to lose all that time anyway. A 51.5 now, so a full 7/10 faster than I was doing at the end of the previous race. See, just pushing so much harder now. Battling for those podium positions really gives you a bit of motivation. Now, 4 cars covered by 3.5 seconds maybe. I feel like there should be some battling going on, but every car's pretty equidistant for now. Going into the final, halfway through the final lap, it's going to be difficult for anyone to make a move now, but mistake from the 5 car. No, we don't know what's going to happen this final few corners. Could be a bit of a contact. You saw it how it ended for me last race. Could be contact between the 5 and the 2. But not much pressure on me anymore. 1.2 in front and behind. I'm not going to be able to make any changes to the rest of this race on pace. Let's see what the 2 car does here. Surely he's going to go for a move into the final corner. Doesn't look like it. Too far back to go for a move. So, it's going to be a 4th place for me. As I say, I did quite a few more races this week, but all of them ended up with me in the back or the front of another car, so